Peace, welcome back to another experience, 33rd universe. We back, we building on astrology. I wanted to build on some basics for parenting. There's a lot of parents out there in the world. I know these things help me with identifying my children's energy. And of course, we all can get to know our kids, and we all can begin to really understand our kids as they grow up because we live with them and they're our kids. But ultimately, the jobs that parents lead the children into a space of progression and ascension, and it's very particular energy that the children may need to receive, and a lot of times it's based on the DNA and the makeup of who you come from anyway. But to really hone in and kind of understand your child, it really takes you to understand their astrology makeup, and their astrology makeup can shed light on how you can nurture or how you should nurture. It can also shed light, their talents. These things can shed light way before they're, growing up and showing themselves to you. You can begin to implement stuff into place. You can begin to understand their energy, based off of the astrology of their natal. So what I wanted to try to do was give some indications of where you should kind of look at for these placements. You have the moon sign. The moon sign is very, very key when it comes to the child. I believe that the moon sign is how the child, acts ultimately until they get to about puberty, until they begin to gain a knowledge of self-awareness. They don't grow into their sun sign just as much. So the instincts come from the moon. The intuition comes from the moon. The nurturing and care that you need as a young person comes from the moon energy. So it's key to kind of understand the moon quality that your son or daughter, your child, possesses, because you can get into a field where you can begin to realize their instinctual aspects. The things that come out of them instinctually will be those moon signs. So if you have a Virgo moon, they're going to have a very calm reserve about themselves until there's a situation that makes them uneasy, and then they're very uneasy. So you can cater to these notions if you understand the concept of their moon and the energy that it kind of personifies. So there's another aspect that you want to check, and the psyche will be wrapped in the Mercury sign, and the Mercury sign will give you an indication of how they process the psychology of what they're thinking. So through that energy, they begin to filter that idea, and it gets understood by way of that energy. So, for example, if your daughter has a Mercury in Aries, they'll typically be a quick thinker. They also be typical to have a quick learning ability. They can also have a little bit of bad attitude. Maybe they might have a brash way of doing and saying things, but this Mercury can give the indication of how they think about things and how it comes out as far as education. So when you're trying to teach your kids certain things, you can cater to this Mercury sign and really give way to what is maximizing their quality. Because if they have a Pisces in Mercury, they might have issues with speaking or giving the clear indication of what they want or need, and you might have to take on the ability to give them the extra help. So these things are still based on everything else in your chart, and it makes a total difference if the sun sign is something different or not. But in the gist, the young kids, you really want to focus on that moon, and you want to really get into their Mercury. The moon is their instincts. The Mercury will be their psychology, and those two things can give a slight indication of how to raise and get into your child's how to harness their child's energy and to really bring out the best out of them. So we'll get into one by one each energy soon in the next video. Until then, y'all have a blessed one. Peace, love, and light.